So Janet's birthday was January 13th, in the dead of winter. And this one winter she was turning 9, so I was 8 years old. And we had a neighbor that was 3 doors down, Mrs. Champagne and Mr. Champagne. They had 5 daughters. They were all great athletes, but I'll talk about that more in the future. But anyway, Mrs. Champagne was nice enough to bake a cake for Janet's birthday, her 9th birthday. And so we were all at home around 6 o'clock in the evening. My mom was making dinner for Janet's birthday. And so she asked John to go over to Mrs. Champagne to go get the birthday cake. Of course, he didn't want to go alone, so he tells me, put my boots on, my jacket, I'm going with him. And it's snowing out, not heavily, but it's cold, you know, it's got to be somewhere maybe 5 below zero. And so we hustle over to Champagne's and we get this cake. And so she has it on a plate, and she's got a like one of those covers that go over a cake or a pie, right? And so now we're coming back, and John just had his shoes on. He hadn't put his boots on. And so we come back, and now it's cold, and he didn't put his gloves on either. I had my gloves and hat on, and so he's cold, and now he's like starting to, you know, walk really quickly and like almost running a couple steps and sliding because it's a little bit icy. And we get about halfway home, and the cake, he almost falls down, and the cake slips out of his hand. Now, on the side of the road had no snow on it because the snowplow would come. They salted the roads to melt the ice, and they would clear the roads. And also on the side of the road, it was very little snow, but down in the grass and in the ditch there was snow, right? So picture that. So here's John. He drops this cake. The fortunate thing was it goes straight down onto the ground. The lid falls off. The top of the cake is not damaged at all. It's like he was juggling it on the way down type of thing, so maybe it fell 2.5 feet, you know, as he was trying to hold on to it. Anyway, the thing comes off the plate, and it lands right on the ground, right in the dirt. I mean, there's dirt, it's muddy, there's rocks there, and he starts laughing hilariously. Of course, I'm worried sick. We're going to get in trouble about this. He's not worried about that. And so he gets the plate, you know, wipes it off, picks up the cake gingerly, and he's like, come on, you know, wipe the rocks and dirt off. So I got my glove, and I'm scraping the bottom of this cake. It's a chocolate cake with white icing on top. And so I do my best to scrape off all of this stuff off the bottom of this cake, get it back on the plate. He puts the lid back on, and we make it the rest of the way home. Now we go inside, and of course he's telling me don't say anything. He's going to kill me, that type of thing. And so now we have dinner, and the whole time eating dinner, all I'm thinking about is this cake situation. So finally we get to dessert, and you know, my mom puts the candles in. We sing happy birthday to Janet. She cuts up the pieces of the cake. Everybody gets their piece on a plate, and everything's going fine so far. I start to eat the cake, and on my second bite, and my tooth almost cracks. And you know, I look around, nobody's really noticing. And I feel into my mouth, and I pull out this tiny pebble, and I was like, oh God. So I just put it in my pocket and continuing to eat. And then about a minute later, there's, I think it was Jason, goes, this is like a rock in my cake. And he pulls